get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning, here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in, get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of light. Get ready, my soul.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. We are so glad that you've joined us today. I'm Reverend Larrye-Marie, and we are a community of radically inclusive spiritual renegades, healing hearts and creating community. And we encourage everyone to live in expectancy of their good. Our topic for today is attitude of gratitude, an opportunity for us to really look at how we view the world. Let's begin with prayer. As I look around at this beautiful surroundings, we can just feel the divine in the essence of the grass and in the essence of the trees, in the wind that blows through the trees, that nature that has us feeling close to the essence of life. The God that is love and growth and awareness and peace and ease and grace. And each of us are individual expressions of that divine, within us having all that God is, all the love and the joy and the peace and the ease and the freedom and the strength and the power to do whatever it is we desire. And what I know to be the truth is that everyone watching this is here by divine appointment. Here because there is something in the message, in a quote, in the music, in the reading. There is something that you are meant to hear, which is why you're watching. I am so grateful for this community. I am grateful that we have this opportunity to come into the homes of people and spread this philosophy of acceptance and love. And it's from all the gratitude that I feel that I release these words into the law of mind, spirit, and action. Because what I know to be the truth is that Spirit has already called all of this good, already called all of this done. So I can just say amen, and we can affirm it together. And so it is.
A song by my friend Karen Drucker. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful. Sing it with me. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. We're so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Yeah. Love you.
So we're about to enter our times of celebrations and of healing. And I invite you to remember as we go into this special section of our service, to remember all the people that are being impacted by the fires and by the hurricane that just hit Louisiana again. I know that we believe and we know in our hearts that everyone is absolutely safe. And we also know that this impacts people's lives in a great way. So remember them in your prayers. So this is our time for celebration and healing. Our time in our service where we celebrate life and we pray for people who desire prayer. We begin with celebration, so I invite you to say aloud, so that the whole universe can hear it, any event in your life for which you're grateful and joyful this week. And now we turn to the healing portion of our service. We're a community steeped in healing. So we pause now to pray for anyone who's not feeling the joy of life that we perhaps were just feeling. They're not feeling maybe that they have things to celebrate. And I truly love this part of our service because it's so in alignment with who we are. So let's pray. God is all there is. God is that love and that peace and ease and grace and freedom and so much more. And as an individual expression of the divine, each of us have within us all of these qualities of spirit. They're available to us right here and right now. And what I know to be the truth is that there are people on this planet right now that aren't embracing those qualities. So we stop for a moment and we create a circle of love. And in this community, we place in that circle of love anyone that we recognize within ourselves or for someone else that might need prayer. So I'm going to pause and I just invite you to say aloud the names of all of those people that you want to include in our circle of love. I know that God is right where each of us happens to be, right here and right now, moving in, through, and as each of us. And I know that the divine has heard every name that we spoke, either in our hearts or aloud. And what I'd like you to do now is pause again, and from your heart to all of theirs, just send out love, knowing that the divine knows exactly how to distribute it. And what I know to be the truth is that anything that needs to be released within each of these people is being released now, be it disease of the mind, of the body, of the soul. I know that anything that's seeking to come forth and be lifted up can be lifted up. And that this release and this lifting up is healing whatever's called to be healed. I know that each of these people is feeling more deeply their connection with the divine right now. I have evidence of that, and I know it to be the truth for everyone that we place in our circle. So I'm so grateful to know that the God without is the God within me. The God without is the God within every person in our circle, every person in this community, and every person on this planet. And I'm grateful for that power of community prayer and what it means to the uplifting of the people on this planet. So it's from all that gratitude that I release this prayer into the law of mind, spirit, and action. Because I know that the divine in all of its wisdom, has already called all of this good. Any heavy lifting that needs to be done to heal whatever needs to be healed, the divine is already taken care of. So I can just know it's already done, say amen, and together we can affirm it. And so it is. I invite you to join me for our community affirmation. My life's purpose is already within me, and I am committed to its unfoldment. I am here by divine appointment to join in a community that cares for one another, to be in a place that transforms people's lives, to remember the highest truth about myself, to learn spiritual tools for personal transformation, and thus to make the world a more joyful place. So this is our time for meditation. So I'm going to invite you to find a comfortable place to just relax, to take a few deep, nourishing breaths, and just settle in as you listen to the music team lead us into the meditation. And then at the end of the meditation, I invite you to sing along with the message and really embrace it. So we take a few deep, nourishing breaths. Breathing in the divine and releasing anything that we need to let go of. Anything that's not serving our lives. Anything that keeps us to live in the kindness of the essence of who we are. Just letting go of all of that and embracing that divine within us. Knowing that our good is without bounds. That within us there is nothing but the holy. Nothing but love and peace and the divine. Circulating in and through every cell of our bodies, and knowing that we are the essence of that divine spirit. So we take a deep breath and breathe it in. Feeling that good, feeling that peace, feeling that love that we are expanding within us, allowing us to know the essence of the good and kindness that lives in each of us. So we come back from this time of just listening to this gentle music, and we bring back with us that knowing that our good is without bounds, that knowing all good, holy, holy, that the divine lives right within us as that good. We feel that peace, that love, that joy that lives within us, and we embrace it.
I'm Nancy Wirtz, and today I'm reading from Find and Use Your Inner Power by Emmett Fox. Only your own thoughts. No matter what the problem you may have to face today, there is a solution because you have nothing to deal with but your own thoughts. As you know, you have the power to select and control your thoughts. Difficult though it may be at times to do so. As long as you think that your destiny is in the hands of other people, the situation is hopeless. People say, it's useless for me to struggle because of such and such a reason. If only I had a profession. If only I had married someone else. If only I had not bought this business. If only I had gone abroad when I had the chance. And so on and so on. But this is a vital mistake because you have nothing to deal with but your own thoughts. Remind yourself of this fact and remind yourself constantly. Repeat it to yourself 100 times a day until you really do begin to grasp all that it means to you. Write it down where you will see it often. Have it on your desk or wherever you work. Hang it on your bedroom. You will easily see it. Write it in your pocketbook. Write it on your soul. By constantly dwelling upon it, it will transform your life. It will lead you out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage. It will bring you to God.
My God is my good. All the the good there is belongs to me. My good is my God is my good. All the good I seek belongs to me. That's my truth with a capital T. It's all about living free. My good is my God. My good is my God. I have all I ever need. My good is my God. My good is my joy. My joy is my good. All the joy there is belongs to me. My good is my joy. My joy is my good. All the joy I seek belongs to me. That's my truth with a capital T. It's all about living free. My good is my God. My good is my God. I have all I ever need. My good is my God. My good is my love is my good. All the love there is belongs to me. My good is my love is my good. All the love I seek belongs to me. That's my truth with a capital T. It's all about living free. My good is my God. My good is my God. I have all I ever need. My good is my God. 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 La 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 la. My good is my God. 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 My good is my God.
So I'm grateful to Gary, Floyd, and Karen Mitchell for the song so far, and of course for our music team for the meditation. So this month is all about giving thanks. And when we give thanks, we can have an attitude of gratitude. And really, an attitude of gratitude is about how we look at life. Yesterday was Halloween, and we all wore masks, or a lot of us wore masks. And with masks, we hide who we are. But this month, we want to look at who we really are and how we look at life, whether or not we are enjoying life and seeing it as something that we're grateful for what we have or sad for what we don't have. And attitude is all about how you see the world. So your question for the week is this: what's the one choice that you can do or be so that you always come from a place of knowing that your attitude about gratitude is a matter of your own consciousness? So one more time. What's the one thing that you can do or be so that you always come from a place of knowing that your attitude about gratitude is about your own consciousness? What I know is life is a journey. And actually, it's two journeys happening at the same time. It's traveling from birth to a lifetime of whatever comes after this lifetime. And the two journeys are one of the outer world, where it's what we do, where we're going to the grocery store, we're going to school, we're going to work. what we're doing, having a relationship, whatever it is. It's about our outer story and how other people see who we are and what we do. And then there's the deeper inner journey, how life is changing us. Who are we becoming? And how are we growing and evolving and deepening and awakening to that spiritual self that lives within inside of us? I love this quote from Mark Nepo. It says, "To journey without being changed is to be a nomad. To change without journeying is to be a chameleon. To journey and be transformed by the journey is to be a pilgrim." And it's great to talk about pilgrims because it's the month of Thanksgiving. We're all pilgrims, walking to the heart of life itself. Ernest Holmes said that life was an endless journey. And I believe that it's good for all of us to allow more of the divine nature to spiral within us and to spiral that awareness to the fact that God is who we are. And so what does this have to do with an attitude of gratitude? Part of the blessing of what has been is that we see and feel the transformation that has worked within us. When we have an attitude of gratitude, we learn to acknowledge that all of life is part of who we are. And we don't settle and we don't live a small life because we allow ourselves to see all parts of our life. And the best thing about this spiritual philosophy is that at any moment we can choose a new beginning. It's called new thought. Have a new thought about life. And if we all were to have a new thought and go to that spiritual truth of who we are, we would be reminded that there's always this whole, unique, precious, loving self. And if we knew that, how could we not be grateful? If we let our new thought awaken us to knowing who we really are, ageless and truly deathless, immortal in some ways, beautiful and powerful, abundant beings, how would we not have an attitude of gratitude? In any circumstances, we can find something for which to be grateful. I encourage people to keep a gratitude journal and each night to put some entries in the journal about what they're grateful for. Now, I confess that some evenings I have to say I was grateful to have running water in my house because it didn't seem like a great day. But there is always something that we can find to be grateful about in our lives. And the nice thing is when we're having a bad day, we can read our gratitude journal and it might shift our thinking to be happy for what we have instead of sad for what we lack. The bottom line, under any circumstances, there's something to be grateful for. So I know that everyone can always find 3 things every evening to be grateful for. It's a way that we create best practices. And by the way, the things that you think about right before you go to bed for that last 20 minutes is what your mind works on. So if you think about your gratitude things right before you go to sleep, your mind's going to work on gratitude all night and you'll wake up feeling different. Different between the experience of the moment and your head trips. Difference between what's actually happening in your life and where your mind is taking you about what is happening. Because what we want to do is we want to enhance those ways of looking at whatever's going on in life is a lesson for us to learn. So if we stopped for a moment right now and just paused and breathed in the moment, this particular moment in time, it's one of life's great levelers. It's one of life's great lessons to be able to just stop and breathe. So I'm going to invite you to avoid writing those old scripts of your life over and over again and to rewrite some new way of believing that whatever it is that your mind's telling you about the current moment You can choose for it to be a moment that's a lesson or a moment that's a happy moment. You can create a new script for gratitude. In our philosophy, we believe that God is in everything, and that means not just in the things that we think are the good stuff, but in all the things, including the things that irritate us and those circumstances in our life that challenge who we are and what we believe and challenge our sense of peace and calm. So what I've noticed in my own life is when there's one of those challenges or one of those things that seems irritating, that it's an opportunity in my life for me to look at what are my expectations and how do I think life should be. The late, great John O'Donohue, in To Bless the Space Between Us, wrote this quote, which I dearly love. Each of us is an artist of our days. The greater our integrity and awareness, the more original and creative our time will become. An artist of our days. You know, if we really believed that every thought we had, that every motion that we took, that everything that we did, we were creating our day, how would we behave? And the truth is, every thought, every action, everything we do is creating our day. What if you were going to design your perfect day? How would it look? I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to just think about your perfect day. And now I have a question for you. How many of you in your perfect day put in anything that was a challenge, anything that was associated with pain, anything that was associated with a struggle? I would venture to say that nobody out there is going to put something in their perfect day that's a struggle or painful or hurtful in any way. And yet, what do we do with our thoughts when we're being the artist of our day? How do we let our thoughts go to those things that irritate us or those people that we're aggravated with? How do we hold on to things that maybe we've done and regret that we did it? We are the artist of our days. So be in integrity with what you want in your day when you're thinking about your day. What if each night, when we decided to go to sleep, we released the day, all of the day, everything that happened, the good, the bad, the ugly. If we let go of all that had happened in that day and just truly released it so that we could get up and start afresh, how do you think that your day, the following day, would go? And yet, we're not very good, I think, at releasing. Or maybe you are, but I'm not. I sometimes hang on to things. And that hanging on keeps me from having an attitude of gratitude about the day that's coming. And also, when I can release the day, what if I just had an attitude of gratitude about all that happened that day, because the things that I didn't like were probably there to teach me a lesson at some level? What if we believe truly that God is for us and nothing is against us? It'd be easy to have an attitude of gratitude because we would notice that everything that came into our life had a purpose. And not only just a purpose, but a positive purpose for our lives and for that opportunity for us to spiral upward in our spirituality and our understanding of who the divine truly is and who we are as a part of this one life. Ken Aucoin said this: "Today I choose life. Every morning when I wake up, I can choose joy, happiness, negativity, pain. To feel the freedom that comes from being able to continue to make mistakes and choices, today I choose to feel life. Not to deny my humanity, but to embrace it." How many of you get up in the morning and say, "Oh, I didn't get enough sleep"? Oh, I don't have a time enough this morning to do this, that, or the other before I have to leave for work. You fill in the blank. How do you start your morning? Because how you start your morning is going to put some belief in how the day's going to go. You can choose to believe that ideas from the past have been planted in your mind. A lot of us do have past ideas, past beliefs that we gathered up from our parents or our grandparents or our great-grandparents, and those seeds are still harvesting in us. It doesn't help us if they're not our thoughts. What is going on? And what I invite you to do is when someone else tries to predict negative difficulties in your life, run in the other direction or just say, I don't want to talk about that right now. I'm just going to know that it's all going to work out. It's not to deny that in our human forms we have challenges, but it's about how do we approach those challenges. I hope that makes sense. If we truly are the artist of our days and we choose negativity, what are we going to expect that day? I don't ask the why question very often, but I want you to consider, why would you choose anything other than an attitude of gratitude in the morning if you're going to be the artist of your day? Ernest Holmes in Ideas of Power said, God is the divine presence inhabiting eternity and indwelling in our lives. The divine presence that indwells in our lives. If we remember that God was indwelling in our lives, couldn't we get up in the morning and say, wow, it's going to be a great day? I saw this play once. It was called Evan Hansen. And at the beginning, he starts and he says, Dear Evan Hansen, today is going to be a great day because, and then he lists a few things why it's going to be a great day. I love to get up in the morning and say, Dear Larry, today's going to be a great day because, and think of a few things that are going to make my day great. That's being the artist of your day, and that's painting your life as a beautiful painting instead of as something that's dark and evil or ugly to you. And there's this thing called the spiritual domino effect. Genevieve Behrend, in Your Invisible Power, wrote this: There's nothing unusual or mysterious in the idea of your pictured desire coming into material evidence. Everything in the world, from the hat on your head to the boots on your feet, has its beginning in mind and comes into existence in exactly the same manner. All are projected thoughts, solidified. So if everything happens twice, once in your mind and once in that outer experience that we talked about, why would we not start the day with an attitude of gratitude? Our fortune, our future, is always a self-contemplation of the one. And it's initiated in our mind because everything happens twice. So let's talk about that spiritual domino effect, because it's the rule, it's not the exception. Have you ever considered that your biggest investment opportunity is sitting square on your shoulders? Our minds are amazing ways to manifest what we want. And one of the ways we manifest what we want is to start our days with an attitude of gratitude. I think we've all heard the old adage, what goes around comes around. It's a true and powerful adage. And we all understand what it means. What we put out comes back to us, and we often say in this philosophy, not only does it come back to us, but it comes back to us multiplied abundantly. There was a lady, and she had a flat tire, and it happened to be way out in the country, and not many people had come by, but nobody had stopped to help her, and it was starting to get a little bit dark, and she was getting a little bit scared, and along came this man, and he got out of his car, And she recognized that because of the situation, she was a little bit hesitant about what was going to happen. And he said, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Brian Anderson, and I'm really here to help you. Why don't you just sit in your car, let me change your flat tire, and then you can be on your way. So the lady got in her car, and he spent the time changing her flat tire. It started to get a little drizzly, and the weather wasn't all that wonderful, and he got a little wet, but he kept going. And when he finished, she said, well, what do I owe you? And he said, no, this was an act of kindness. And all I request is that in the future, when you have that opportunity, pay it forward. And so she got in her car and was on her way, and he made sure that she was doing okay. And then he was heading home. And he was really tired. He'd had a really long day. He started work at early in the morning, and he was still looking for a better job. Well, she decided to stop at this little cafe in the town that was right down the road. And she stopped and got some dinner. And when she got ready to leave, the waitress brought her the check. And she left a $100 bill. And she left before the waitress could bring her her change. And when the waitress came back to the table, there was $400 bills under a napkin with a little note that said, this is a random act of kindness, and all that I ask is in the future, when you can, pay it forward. And the waitress is thinking, oh my gosh, this is almost $500. And there was still some time before the cafe closed, so the waitress finished her shift and then went home, and she was getting ready to get in bed, and she was thinking about how wonderful the universe is, because this lady had left her money. She was pregnant. She didn't know how they were going to pay for all the things they needed. Her husband only had this part-time job, and she was working at this cafe. How was she actually ever going to be able to thank this lady for this wonderful gift? And as she was getting ready for bed and getting in bed and thinking about all that had happened in the day, she, with the baby due the next month, she thought, wow, my husband is just going to love the fact that we don't have to worry quite so much about how things are going to be the next month or two. And she crawled into bed, she kissed her husband, and she said, I love you so much, Brian Anderson. His good deed had come back immediately to bless him. What went around came around for him right away. And I think if we each chose to pay forward all the kindness that we've received in our lives, you know, sometimes kindness can be as little a thing as somebody letting you go ahead of them in a grocery line because you only have a couple items and they have a whole buggy full. That happened to me recently when I was in a real big hurry at Costco, and I'd only run in to get a couple items, and the person in front of me had a huge buggy full, and she said, why don't you go in front of me? And it was such a nice little act of kindness, and I was grateful because it helped me get to my appointment on time. Sometimes we don't recognize how much good there is in the world. What if each of us chose every day to pay forward some past kindness that we remember? This quote from Creative Mind by Ernest Holmes, and it says this: wake up. Your word is all powerful. Your consciousness is one with omnipotence. Your thought is infinite. Your destiny is eternal. And your home is everlasting heaven. Realize the truth. I am living in a perfect universe. It always was perfect and always will be perfect. There never was a mistake made. There are no mistakes being made, and there never will be. I live in the great and eternal universe of perfection, from cause to effect, from beginning to end, and the world's all right, and I know it. Wake up. The world's all right. We just need to affirm that and know it. If we keep those words in mind, there's no doubt that we'll all live with an attitude of gratitude. There's no doubt that we'll recognize that what is happening around us is meant to be happening. Jean Houston said that we're all have the extraordinary coded within us, waiting to be released. I invite you to release your extraordinary, to recognize that there is a spiritual domino effect, that you can live every day, beginning the day by saying, "Dear Larry," or whatever your name happens to be, today's going to be a great day, because when we affirm that the world is perfect and will always be perfect, no matter what it looks like in the outer world, remember, we're on two journeys. The outer journey, which is how we see other people and they see us. And that inner journey, which is the deeper journey to awakening, that deeper journey to the spiritual life that's the essence of who we are, that everlasting life. I'm going to challenge you actually to try, at least for 1 week, to go to bed every night and think of 3 things you can be grateful for. And every morning to wake up and say, "Dear whatever, today's going to be a great day because." Let's pray. God is such an amazing being in our lives, an amazing spirit that flows in, through, and as each of us. The love, the freedom, the joy, the peace, the ease that God is exactly who we are. There is absolutely nothing within us that is keeping us from having a life that is filled with love and joy. We get to choose. Remember the quote, we get to choose. Are we going to be joyful or negative? It's our choice, because everything happens twice. First in the mind and then in reality. And I'm actually grateful to know that the God without is the God living within each of us. I'm grateful to know that I get to choose, and everyone watching this gets to choose how they start their day, how they end their day, how they look at the challenges that show up during their day as either a lesson or as some negative event. And it's from the gratitude of knowing that this philosophy supports us in knowing the truth of our being, that I release all these words into the law of mind, spirit, and action. Because what I know is Spirit has already said yes. And that eternal timeline, everything that we have desired is already done. So I can just say amen, and we can affirm it together. And so it is.
From the love of your Spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal, bless, and prosper. It does good work in the world and returns to me, multiplied abundantly. From the love of your Spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal, bless, and prosper. It does good work in the world and returns to me, multiplied abundantly. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
You can find all of the information for donating at our website at CSL SoutheastLA.org. You can use the donate button there, or you can use Zella or Venmo at 225-287-8887. You can text your amount to 1-225-320-5100. Or you can mail your donation to CSL Southeast Louisiana, care of Reverend Larrye-Marie Heil, 445 Magnolia Wood Avenue, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 70808. We thank you for your tithes and donations, and we appreciate the fact that you are giving gifts that are flowing out to everyone we touch. We are so fortunate to have a wonderful music team in this community, and I know that you're going to love this amazing Grace medley that they have for you today.
Amazing grace, how sweet that sound, that lives in a soul like mine. I once was lost, oh, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. And countless dangers, doubts, and fears I have already gone. God's grace has brought me safe here, and grace will lead me home. My chains are gone, I know I'm free. I know God's Spirit lives in me, and now I know that Spirit reigns. Unending love, amazing grace. That guiding voice shall always stay. Spirit strengthen me abide, and if I stumble any day, I know that God abides. My chains are gone, I know I'm free. I know that Spirit lives in me, and now I know that Spirit reigns. Unending love, amazing grace. Unending love, amazing grace.
Thank you for joining us today. We invite you to like us on Facebook at Center for Spiritual Living, Southeast Louisiana, and follow us on YouTube. Our channel is CSL SELA. You can also join us for our community time. You have a little bit of time to go grab coffee or tea and maybe a snack then dial in and join us for a live discussion. The conference line, which we use every week, is 515-604-9000. So put it in your phone with the participation code 475220. We begin with the discussion of the service and follow up with a process to help you dive more deeply into the concept of the day. We hope you'll join us. And in closing, I just want to remind you that Disney may be the happiest place on earth, but we at the Center for Spiritual Living in Southeast Louisiana know that we are absolutely the most joyful. So as you're moving through this week, remember to have an attitude of gratitude. And may you be filled with love and kindness and be able to rest in the arms of the divine. And I know that as you wake up every morning and think about how it's going to be such a wonderful day, that during that day, you are going to feel very much alive.
Alive, alive, alive forevermore. My spirit is alive, alive forevermore. Alive, alive, alive forevermore. My spirit is alive. Sing hallelujah, sing hallelujah. My spirit is alive forevermore. Sing hallelujah, sing hallelujah. My spirit is alive. Alive, alive, alive forevermore. My spirit is alive, alive forevermore. Alive, alive, alive forevermore. My spirit is alive. Sing hallelujah, sing hallelujah. My spirit is alive forevermore. Sing hallelujah, sing hallelujah. My spirit is alive.
So I want to invite people to remember, if you haven't done so already, go out and vote. It doesn't matter who you're choosing to vote for. What's really important is that we take this opportunity right now to impact what we know is our nation's democratic process by being involved and by voting. I've already voted, and I invite all of you, if you haven't, show up and vote this week.